Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Trains and Control Points. I'm out here at CPSP 306, Saco. This is South Saco, and got a northbound or westbound, if you will, be coming through here in a minute. And I thought I'd talk a little bit about the history of this part of Saco, and for you folks from Bakersfield who know the area around here. This is right alongside Old Golden State Highway, just south of 7th Standard Road. I am right across the street from what used to be KK's Cafe. Not sure what it is now. I know Kim and Randy sold it. But anyway, well, let's talk a little bit about some of the things that went on around this part of Saco. All right. See, we have a green over red here, which means the train is cleared straight up the main line, bottom head. As you saw in the how signals work piece I did, if you saw that, the bottom head controls movement into the siding. So over a normal switch, get a high green. Up there just a ways, you can see that switch up there. That is the electric lock, which is the hand throw switch that goes into the side tracks here. That was once called the oil track, and after this train goes by, we'll go over there and take a look at some of that stuff. All right, here comes our northbound Union Pacific to manifest. I was down in the yard earlier talking to some of the guys down there and saw this guy sitting there, so I knew he was coming at some point. And here he comes. Speed for manifest trains here is 50 miles an hour. Signal go red. Head in, we'll be going under, that is where 7th Standard Road turns into Merle Haggard Avenue, or whatever the heck they call it. 7th Standard Road. I always wondered what 7th Standard Road, I wondered why they called it that. I had no idea until a few years ago. I started doing some research on it. It's actually a geographic point. Every 20 miles there is what is called a standard. The 6th standard is up near Delano. I can't remember which road. The next one is out at David Road or Topaz Road, one of the roads 20 miles south of here. This is the 8th standard. Empty auto rack. There goes the pusher. Certain thing about the valley is it does not take trains long to get by like it does up on the mountain. All right, northbound through South Saco as CPSP 306. All right, we're here at Saco on these side tracks on what were called the oil tracks, the oil spur, whatever you're going to call it. There is CPSP 306 Saco right there. This big header pipe coming out of the ground here was once connected by pipeline to an oil storage facility that was about, I don't know, 2 or 3 miles over that way, over the other side of the airport, actually north of the airport. But it was connected to the fields over at the Kern River and the Kern Front. And there was a large oil rack, a loading rack about, I don't know, you can see where those little crossing things are up there where you could walk across or drive across these tracks in a truck or a golf cart or whatever. But anyway, it was all connected to that, and they could load on 2 tracks at once. These 2 tracks here to the right and to the center were built specifically for that facility. This track over here to the left was already there. That was an old storage track, but it was a huge rack, and it filled what was called the oil train. And the oil train, each tanker car was connected to the next car by a hose, essentially a hose assembly, a flexible hose, and they would just start filling the first car up, and when the first car was full, it would go through the hose into the second car, third car, and like that. So rather than having to move the cars up every time you wanted to fill another car, it just filled that entire section of the train, and they could fill, if they had cars on, they would have cars on each track, and it could fill both sets of cars, and they would come in here and hook up, pull a part of the train out, hook a set of helpers in the middle, and pull it out. Sometimes they used helpers on the end, sometimes they didn't, but it was a pretty impressive facility. The oil train was one of the hottest trains that we had. It always seemed like whenever we got called out, if there was a train waiting for us, it seemed to be the oil train. The oil train is the one that derailed, I believe it was in about 1987 or 88, and Lancaster made a huge mess. And that happened because a car ran the stop sign where it dead-ended into the tracks, hit the tracks, knocked the tracks out of line. We didn't have a barricade detector there at the time, so they didn't have a red signal. They hit that track misalignment, went right off on the ground. No one was injured, but as I said, it created a big mess. But anyway, in the mid-90s, they built a facility in Mojave, and they built a pipeline from, well, not from here, but from the oil fields where that storage facility is. They just built a pipeline across the mountain to Mojave, and then they built a big facility at Mojave and started loading the oil train over there. And I think in the day in the desert, I believe I hit on that. I don't have to go back and look. But, and one thing, sorry for the poor shooting quality. The air is foul from all the fires north of us. It's better than it was last week, but it's still pretty bad. And anyway, when I was a gang foreman, we did the signal work going into the facility in Mojave. They built that, and then a few years after that, they built a pipeline down to San Pedro or Wilmington or wherever the refineries down south, and got rid of it and closed the Mojave facility. They do still use it, but not for big trains like they used to. Anyway, that was some of the stuff that happened here at Saco. Well, that'll conclude my little piece on South Saco, and hope you enjoyed it. It is August 31st. I'm still waiting for my shoulder surgery coming up this Thursday, if they don't push it back again, if we don't lose the air conditioning or whatever their excuse was last time. But anyway, as usual, if you have any ideas, things you'd like to see me do, I'll be down for a little while, but I won't be down for long. And let me know. Comments below. Shoot me an email at motorpoet59@gmail.com. Like, share, subscribe, click on the bell if you want to be notified of future content, and we'll see you all after my surgery.